Today on the list, why you should stop playing nice, Willem Dafoe's new one-man show, and
any Cajun seasoning from your local grocery store will work.
How to prepare an authentic crawfish boil.
That is delicious.
Plus, the hit workout that packs a punch.
You're gonna feel strong, you're gonna feel powerful.
But up first, let radical forgiveness make you happy. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Guerrero.
And I'm Jimmy Rhodes. And KG, we've all heard the expression baggage, basically a way to describe those grudges, slights, and traumas that have been bogging us down for years, often in ways we're not even aware of.
Yeah, and if we don't take proactive steps to heal from them, they can keep us trapped in the past and hold us back from achieving our true goals.
Well, Jackie Denker is helping us move forward with ways to practice radical forgiveness. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
So many of us harbor emotions of past hurt and trauma.
And we hold that bitterness and anger with us for years. It saps our energy, and really, in many cases, it doesn't serve anybody, and certainly it doesn't serve us.
But take it from Scott Simon, psychologist and founder of Scare Your Soul, who says we can finally let all of that go by practicing radical forgiveness.
Forgiveness is actually one of the most courageous acts that we can ever take on.
And he's breaking down how to practice it, starting with forgiving forward, which is
a preemptive, proactive approach of forgiving somebody sometimes before they even do something that's hurtful for us.
He says it's all about visualization.
It's about taking the time to sit down, close your eyes, think about someone in your life that has either hurt you or frustrated you, or maybe you're expecting that they're going to.
Picture the worst case scenario.
And then take a break, take a pause, and actually forgive that person for what they did in your visualization.
I know it sounds a little out there, but
if we can proactively forgive that person for something they may not have even done yet, when we interact with that person, just think of the joy and grace that we can bring to that conversation, bring to that interaction. This is proactive, it is powerful, and it works.
Moving along with, be courageously grateful.
Bringing gratitude into our lives is actually incredibly powerful when we're dealing with challenging people, challenging situations.
So he suggests we
choose a group of people that you're going to be spending time with and invite them to participate in a gratitude text chain. Text each other every night 5 things that you're grateful for.
And by doing this,
we actually spend our time looking for things in them and in the world around us that are going to make us feel grateful.
So when we are faced with challenging situations,
if we're already feeling a sense of gratitude in our heart, it really encourages us to forgive.
Next, he says it's important to redirect our energy.
So much of life is about the energy that we bring to our daily activities, to our interactions, and we all have a limited amount of energy each and every day to expend.
Scott says a lot of people spend that energy
focused on bitterness, anger, the things that are weighing us down.
So if we can redirect the energy to focus on love,
it changes everything.
Finally, seek out new ways to give.
When we give to other people, when we have a sense of generosity, that sense of love and connection is bolstered. We feel closer to other people.
And that doesn't have to mean gifts from a store.
Maybe they need your time. Maybe they need a compliment. Maybe they need a willing ear.
And if you practice all of these steps, he says you will bring
forgiveness, understanding, and joy to all of your interactions.
Practicing radical forgiveness is at the top of the list.
At long last, the season for backyard gatherings is finally coming. But instead of the usual burgers and chicken, we're taking the party Cajun with a crawfish boil. Addie D. Jamal has your Crackin' and Boilin' 101.
If you want to turn up your outdoor party a notch, toss out the barbecue and get cracking with the crawfish boil.
The tradition and the origins of crawfish boils started in the bayous and swamplands of Louisiana. They've become a staple of Creole and Cajun fare and have spread nationally and globally.
Will Gardner, regional manager for Angry Crab Shack in Mesa, Arizona, shares some tips on how to throw an easy crawfish boil party. Let's start with the tools and equipment. What do you need? to actually get your crawfish boil going?
Well, it's a very simple equipment list. We're going to start with our pot, one pot cooking for boil. We have our colander to strain our food at the end, and then we have our heat source. This could be at home with a kitchen stove. This could be outside with a propane burner. Very versatile.
And don't forget your tongs.
So that then our little pinchers don't get hurt.
Next, let's talk ingredients.
First thing we want to start with is our seasoned pot. We have our own signature Cajun blend that we use, but really any Cajun seasoning from your local grocery store will work.
Cajun seasoning is typically made up of salt, pepper, onion powder, paprika, coriander, and mustard seed.
And then a little cayenne if you want to kick.
What are the ingredients aside from the seasoning? Because obviously that's the heart of it.
Star of the show, or the main attraction, is going to be the goodies that we put in the pot, which today are going to be potatoes, corn, sausage, and crawfish.
Finally, the boil. How long does it take for the entire boil to cook?
Typically about 15 to 20 minutes.
Once the water's boiling, pour in the seasoning. How long are we actually boiling the water with the seasoning before we start putting in our ingredients?
Maybe 2 to 3 minutes, just so that then the water gets nice and seasoned, and then we can start to add in our ingredients.
Toss in the potatoes and let them cook for about 10 minutes.
And then let's start to add our corn. And let's go ahead and add our sausage and crawfish.
All right, so everything's boiling, now what?
Grab a cold drink and wait about 5 minutes.
So is it ready?
Crawfish are bright red, they're floating, and they're ready to go.
Okay, so what comes next?
Next, we're gonna wanna go ahead and strain all the water out and move it to the bowl.
So everything's in the bowl. What happens next?
Great chef always tastes his creation and makes sure the food's cooked well.
How do you go about eating the crawfish?
Twist the tail, remove it from the body, and then just kind of peel it.
That is delicious. It is worth the work. Cracking the code to crawfish boils.
All right, wipe out a whole bunch of calories in 40 minutes and burn off your stress? I mean, sign me up, right? Fitness studios that offer high-intensity interval training are now adding HIIT boxing classes to their lineup. All right, tread lightly, everyone, because I am climbing into the ring to help punch up your workouts.
Wiggle your fingers for me.
It's time to put your boxing gloves on
All right, let's go.
and get ready for a new workout.
Your heart rate's up the whole entire class.
Boxing fitness instructor Ramsey San Miguel at Body Scottsdale is getting us in shape with HIIT boxing. Starting with the benefits.
Typically with boxing, most people think that it's just an upper body workout for most people when they come up here, but they don't realize the cardio component where you're toning your arms, you have to work your core. You're gonna feel strong, you're gonna feel powerful. Nowadays, I think it's huge for self-defense mechanisms. So having fun learning combinations and going hard, I think it's just a different way for people to honestly increase their fat loss.
And if you're the one who has bad knees or an injury, don't worry, because HIIT boxing is a low-impact workout.
It's gonna allow you to still work in a way where you're not gonna feel it.
So how long is a class typically, and how much can you burn?
So every class up here is usually 45 minutes to an hour. We like to say 45-50 is a sweet spot with a warm up and a cool down involved in it. But then also, depending on the size of the person, you can burn up to 450 to 1,000 calories.
Next, we're learning the basics.
First punch we're gonna throw is our jab. So your jab, front side, it's also considered a number one. Hands come up, elbows in. When I punch through, I'm rotating my hips and my thumb is rotating down. Perfect, yes, just like that.
Another need-to-know move, crosses.
Hands up, elbows in, crossing your body, rotating, getting that full rotation through that hip, adding that power. Next one, we're gonna add that front hook. So our number 3 here, soft bend in your elbow, your thumb is gonna rotate up, and you're coming around the side at an angle. Yes, good, just like that.
I'm not imagining myself hitting anybody, but if I were, oh, you better watch it.
Now that we've got the basics down, it's time to do the workouts.
Typically in a class here, we'll have a combination on the bag, we'll go on the floor for cardio, we'll go back to the bag, we'll do the same combination 4 times, and then you're done with it.
All right, let's head to the bags.
Perfect.
And how long do you do this for?
20 seconds. Good. Awesome. All right, 10 seconds, taking it down. And resting.
Woo! Oh my gosh, how was that?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
That was such a great workout. Fantastic. mechanic.
Good.
What do you think? Am I ready?
Oh, you're more than ready.
All right,
Be
let's see.
careful, be careful.
Watch it. Watch it out there.
We are getting you fit with hitboxing.
Still to come on the list, how to set boundaries and say no to people.
Some people are going to be all right with it and some people aren't.
And why this mechanic isn't afraid to get her hands dirty.
Essentially, I work 2 jobs, one as a mechanic and one as a maid.
Plus, Willem Dafoe's new thriller with a very small cast.
I did have co-stars. I had a house, I had objects, I had art.
All that and more ahead on the list.
Welcome back. And KG, there is a new expression out there. It's the villain era, about when we finally learn to impose boundaries and express our own needs.
Yes, it means growth, but it can create a situation where friends and loved ones feel left behind.
So we're looking at some ways to navigate the tricky challenges of your villain era.
Sometimes the hardest thing about changing our lives is getting our loved ones on board.
While you may have done the work to start to grow and change, they haven't done the same work that you've done on yourself.
It may be tough to accept the new boundaries that you've set, which may come off as cold or villainish. But luckily, Master Life Coach Dr. Crystal Connor has some tips on how to embrace our new lease on life without alienating others. So let's start with your villain era.
A villain era is not you going around blowing up your life, causing all type of chaos.
Even though it may feel that way.
When you start saying no and you start changing things about yourself, you start to feel uncomfortable because it's not what you're used to.
She says to embrace the change you want to make for yourself positively and say,
I want to become a better person every day, and so it's going to require me to undo some things about myself that weren't working for me before.
During this process, you may find yourself stuck in the middle.
I think knowing going into any type of change, just being okay with the fact that some people are going to be all right with it and some people aren't. But everybody does not deserve an explanation for when you grow and change.
She says you're also not responsible for how they feel about your change. Instead,
what is important to you? Who do you want to be? How do you want to present yourself?
Then you have to prepare for the rules of engagement.
Being in a situation or a relationship where things are happening and you're unhappy and you're behaving in a certain way because you're unhappy
requires you to be honest by saying,
when you do this or when you say this, this is how it affects me.
Let the person know you're going to keep being who you are.
In the long run, those make relationships either healthier, or if it's a relationship that needs to end, it ends that relationship.
Finally, master the art of setting boundaries.
A lot of times we don't want to set boundaries because we feel like it's going to make us seem mean.
She says boundaries are the most caring thing you can do in a relationship.
When you're setting a boundary, you're not trying to control the other person if you're doing it correctly.
Boundaries are,
this is how I'm going to handle myself in a situation.
Of course, the other person may not agree with your boundaries,
but at least you have been honest about what is acceptable for you in a relationship and how you want that relationship to run.
Being a hero to yourself without being a villain to others.
March is Women's History Month, but today we are celebrating some females who've left the past behind. Teresa Strasser met some women who are flipping the script and killing it in careers typically held by men. Teresa.
Thank you. With more than 30 million likes combined, these influencers are kicking butt in their jobs, which happen to be in male-dominated fields. Coming in at number 1, Attorney Martinez. With women making up only 40% of attorneys, Kathleen Martinez is helping fill that gap with her team of incredible women at her company, Martinez Immigration. She has a goal to help immigrants gain legal status at an affordable cost.
Get ready with me as I tell you about different ways that you can get a green card.
She's also helping with some lawsuits you might not know you qualify for.
If you bought any type of chicken, I'm talking frozen or fresh, in any of these states in the last decade, you could be part of a $181 million settlement.
That's a lot of cheese for some bad chicken. At number 2, Rindy Napper. With only 5.4% of mechanics being female, Rindy Napper is showing that it's not just for men. She shares her daily duties with all of us on social media, served up with a side of comedy.
You taste it on my lips. I'm so scared.
She's also not afraid to get her hands dirty.
I really look like this all day long. And my favorite color is white.
As the daughter of a mechanic, I very much relate to those next level grease stains. And last on our list of influential women in male-dominated fields, Jenny Fish 9.
Fight to make every day. No two are the same.
Jenny Fish went from a desk job her entire life to now showing us that women can do anything a man can do, and that includes garbage collection.
Wake up in the morning, I look good, feel good, and I'm glowing.
She is part of the 5% of women who are in the garbage collector community. Wish my kids would take the trash out with at least half of that enthusiasm. And those were some women in male-dominated fields showing us a glimpse into their lives. More to come on the list. Stay with us.
We are back, and today on the watch list, we're talking to Willem Dafoe, who's been nominated for 4 Oscars and whose movies have raked in a whopping $8 billion+ at the box office. He introduces Jackie Danker to his latest project, the psychological drama Inside.
Willem Dafoe has been in about 150 movies and shows, portraying everything from Vincent van Gogh in the Oscar-nominated At Eternity's Gate to the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man series. His latest film is the psychological drama Inside. It's about a heist gone wrong where a criminal becomes locked inside a home he was robbing.
The owner is not there, he's not returning.
Help me! Get me out of here!
Willem gave us a peek behind the scenes.
Stay focused. The art in here is worth millions.
First, his unconventional co-stars.
I did have co-stars. I had a house, I had objects, I had art. The art collection was very important.
I feel you, brother. I gotta set you free.
We had to invent a lot of things too. So even though there aren't conventional scenes, it didn't feel so very different than making most movies.
Sorry, man. You're on your own.
With the movie revolving around the star, the viewer becomes more invested in what happens to him.
One of the things I like about the movie is the audience can really participate. Because of the solitary nature of it, you're with him. He becomes your guy. The view is colored by his situation.
Nobody here but us pigeons.
Even when I watch it, I don't see myself up there. I'm with that guy. And I have ideas and plans for him as he's trying to negotiate all these problems.
This character, because he's trapped, he has to invent his escape. And in this case, art, making art, even though he's not an artist, has something to do with his survival.
Finally, every scene was shot in the order it is in the movie.
That's really a gift. It's the only way we could have made the movie because of the degradation of the house. You just go forward, so every action has a reaction, and you get propelled further along the narrative.
Music fades, but art is for keeps.
So as his character got weaker, Dafoe had to as well.
This guy's starving to death, and the only thing to eat are moldy bellinis and caviar. It was organic. I just stopped cutting my hair. I stopped shaving. I don't do a certain kind of physical exercise, so I get a little thinner.
Going inside Willem Dafoe's new movie on the watch list.
KG, fun fact, Willem Dafoe used to be William Dafoe, but his signature was so hard to read that people thought it said Willem, so he just went with it.
You just made that up. That's a total lie.
I make up most of my fun facts. That's what makes them so fun.
But that is your segue into signatures. Upping your autograph game is last on our list. That's next. Hey guys, welcome back. It's time for what's last on our list. Okay, so one of my favorite things to do is doodle. Been doing it since I was little hearts, flowers, stars, but my favorite thing to doodle is my name.
Okay, so you've been practicing your signature since what, elementary school?
Well, I prefer autograph, but yeah, sure.
For those of us not as proud of our autograph, check this out from AP News. Hate your signature? Try plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery for autographs. Let's not miss that part. Pretty sure no one is suggesting going under the knife for this one. But yeah, believe it or not, people are paying calligraphers for a fresh take on their signatures in cursive.
Is cursive really still a thing? Yeah. Okay, this is interesting because when you were a kid and you're first signing your name, remember to be really careful to make sure that every letter was in there, but eventually it just becomes this squiggly symbol of your name, kind of like a brand mark more than written out words.
I know. Well, to up your branding, some TikTokers with great penmanship will charge you between $10 to $35, maybe even more, to get you a new signature. What say you, Jimmy Rhodes? Is this something that you would try perhaps for your legions of fans waiting for an autographed picture of you?
That's a very short line, but no, the muscle memory on my current signature, way too ingrained.
Yeah.
There's no change in it now. How about you?
I mean, I've been perfecting my autograph since 3rd grade. I'm good. And that's what's last on our list. Hey friends, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on the list, travel the world with comedian Eugene Levy.
I'm glad I'm trying things, whether I like them or whether I don't.
Plus, elevate your pasta with homemade sauce.
It's really impressive how you can taste every ingredient individually.
And how better health is just a step away.
One of the most effective yet underrated tools that we can leverage is movement.
Tomorrow on the list.